What's up guys, Handish here, and today we're going to take a look at the Nova Mortis, Abaddon and Thunderlord exotic machine guns in PvE and PvP. So Nova Mortis and Abaddon have just made it into Destiny during the Dawning event. If you're looking for a guide to acquire these weapons, then the link will be in the description, but in this video we're going to check out this Thunderlord trio of machine guns and see how they perform. So these weapons are all basically the same thing, the only difference being their elemental damage. So Nova Mortis is a void weapon, Abaddon is a solar weapon, and the original Thunderlord is of course arc. Before we go any further though, let's check out the bonuses. So for the barrel options, we have accurized ballistics or field choke for more range and impact at the expense of recoil, or we have linear compensator for more predictable recoil with slight boosts to range and impact. The first perk column has Feeding Frenzy, kills with the weapon increase reload speed for a short time. Moving on to the central column, we have Perfect Balance for extremely low recoil, Field Scout for increased ammo carry capacity, or Flared Magwell to reload the weapon even faster. The final perk slot features Incendiary rounds for Abaddon, Negative rounds for Nova Mortis, or Lightning rounds for the Thunderlord. These bonuses do the same thing on each weapon, causing the weapon to fire faster and more accurately the longer the trigger is held. The bonus just has a different name depending on which weapon you're using. As far as ballistics go, any of the options are acceptable. I use accurized ballistics most of the time. Thunderlord is very high on aim assist, and accurized just feels like it adds to this factor. If you wanted slightly less severe recoil, then linear compensator would be okay, but honestly it makes very little difference. In the middle column, I would absolutely recommend using Field Scout. The weapon uses a lot of ammo as its rate of fire amps up, so I find having bonus ammo capacity really helps out more than any of the other bonuses in the middle column. So there's something to note about the recoil values of these weapons. Currently Nova Mortis and Abaddon have bugged recoil stats, and that's not the stability stat displayed in game, but it's the hidden stat which affects the recoil pattern while firing the weapon. So a few months back, Bungie fixed a bug where the recoil stats on Thunderlord and exotic machine guns were not working properly, and basically that legacy bug appears to be present in the Thunderlord variants. Thunderlord itself is fixed, but Abaddon and Nova Mortis are not. So if we make a comparison right here, you can see that Thunderlord has a little bit of spread, but if we move over to the Nova Mortis, it's far more severe. This is noticeable in game when you're using the weapons, but it's something that should be fixed fairly soon, so I won't factor this against the weapons in the review. So these weapons are in the same impact class as the Nemesis Star or Quillem's Terminus machine guns. They hit pretty hard and do great damage for all activities. All around the stats for these weapons are really solid. The range is good as far as base stats go. You could beat it with range bonuses on other legendary machine guns, but honestly the effective range of Thunderlord is pretty great considering its other bonuses. In terms of stability, it's also pretty good. So 41 is the base range stat, which is the same as Quillem's Terminus, which feels pretty good in general. The recoil on the weapon is somewhat severe, especially as the rate of fire amps up, but it's fairly easy to control if you're using the bonus on the right targets, and for the damage you get, it's a small price to pay. Thunderlord has a relatively fantastic reload speed of 46 points, which is really high for machine guns in general, and this really helps considering the weapon eats ammo. The other great thing here is that you have Feeding Frenzy in the first column, so reloading after kills in combat in PvE and PvP is an absolute breeze with these machine guns. When you're using these weapons, you can tell that they put out a lot of damage. You can 1 or 2 shot most lower tier mobs, which is nice, but it's really easy to use against ads in general, particularly because it has insane aim assist and accuracy. You can basically miss crits or even miss shots altogether, which seem to find themselves landing back to the head. It's a combination of the aim assist but also the built-in accuracy stats which make this thing hit targets so easily, and it's really noticeable especially if you tap the trigger or burst fire a few rounds. These weapons also put out a lot of damage when the exotic bonuses start ramping up because the rate of fire increases but the impact damage stays the same. Because of this, its damage output dramatically increases as this bonus activates and stays active, and this is really effective for boss damage in particular because you can focus fire and hit plenty of crits. The recoil and kick of the weapon will really ramp up along with these bonuses as well, so it will get harder to control, but nonetheless, if you use one of these weapons on a boss fight with the right burn, they're pretty fantastic. I would try and avoid using the exotic bonuses against mobs though. It can be very effective, but because of the ammo reserves and the dynamic rate of fire, you will use a lot of your ammo doing this. In general, for PvE activities, you can use this to focus fire tanky mobs or bosses for a lot of DPS. You can also fire 1 or 2 rounds at a time to take down adds, and this can be really great with heroic strikes or nightfalls with burns active, essentially allowing you to use your heavy for most kills in each encounter. It's simply a very fun weapon to use in general. Just be mindful of the ammo constraints and maybe consider running grade gauntlets if you're fighting Fallen, or ruin wings on a Titan alongside machine gun ammo bonuses, and these weapons will really start to pay their way in most activities. In terms of PvP, these are all very hard-hitting weapons, and the accuracy again makes them very strong in Crucible in general. You can easily go on a few sprees with these weapons, the stats being the thing that really make them perform in my opinion. The exotic bonuses are not generally super useful, but they do have their moments.
This is amazing!
I feel like there's a lot of cool factor there. These are great weapons to run in 6s, but the heavy weapon meta in 3s or trials makes it likely that you'll want to switch to Truth or a solid legendary launcher, and that's another thing to consider. This of course is an exotic heavy, so it depends on which exotic primaries or specials you may value more in other slots. Nonetheless though, these are all very good exotic machine guns, the issue with them overall being that they use a lot of ammo. As far as the big picture goes though, these weapons don't see a ton of use because 1, there are a lot of other very powerful exotic heavies out there like Galahorn or the swords, which also offer some variety compared to something like a machine gun, and then there are also really strong primaries like Zalo Supercell for PvE, and these all kind of outrank the Thunderlords, not necessarily in power but more in variety. Having said this though, I think Thunderlord and by extension the Nova Mortis and Abaddon are a little bit underrated. They can do a lot of damage and are very satisfying to use on the whole, but perhaps don't offer the damage versus ease of use which some of the other weapons in their category do. For me, I really enjoy these weapons, and I'll definitely be swapping them out depending on the burns for different strikes in the near future. I'll be interested to see what you guys think as well though. Have you had fun using these weapons, or do you think you'll be sticking to other stuff? Drop a comment down below, and if you've enjoyed the video, a thumbs up is always highly appreciated. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit subscribe for a lot more Destiny content, but for now, you guys have a great day.